Oh, well, trees totally change the energy of a place.
Our urban forests are all the trees that are within an urban city environment. Sometimes people don't think that those trees are important, but urban trees matter immensely.
Hey! Hey!
Hi.
This is so cool.
I know. Doesn't it look so good?
I've been walking my dog past here for like 8 years, and it's always been this crazy ivy jungle. And now it's just gone.
Yeah, my roommates and I are so relieved to see the ivy gone. Hold on. Who are these people, and why do they care so much about English ivy? This is Andrew, longtime York neighborhood resident, and this is Lexie, who is actually me. I'm one of 7 who rent this house in Bellingham, Washington. When we moved in, our yard was completely infested with English ivy. Our trees especially were becoming prey to this super aggressive plant. Whether it be a campsite or a rental property, we live by the practice of leaving a place in better health than when we found it. Although we're temporary occupants of this home, we've had the privilege of loving this property for almost 2 years. Removing the English ivy was our way of showing reciprocity to this beautiful plot of land. I'm a local filmmaker in Bellingham, and I was going to document our story of ivy removal on my own, until I serendipitously heard about the Whatcom Million Trees Project. One of the main focuses of this small nonprofit is to protect mature trees in Whatcom County from English ivy. Because of our common interests, we decided to create this short documentary together. What is English ivy? Why should we care about it? And what can we do about it?
Ivy kills virtually every tree it climbs up on. A lot of people don't realize that. And it may take time, it may take a handful of years, depending on the size of the tree and the location, but it will kill virtually every tree.
Heterohelix, also known as English ivy, originates from Europe, Western Asia, and Northern Africa. It's said European colonists introduced English ivy to North America in the 1700s because they missed seeing this plant that was ubiquitous in their native region. English ivy is still commonly planted because it can serve as a carefree and low-cost ground cover, as it requires little to no maintenance. It's an evergreen perennial vine, crawling up walls, trees, fences, anything that can give the plant access to sunlight. English ivy leaves vary in shape, but generally resemble the shape of a maple leaf, unless the plant has reached maturity. Maturity is reached when the plant is anywhere between 7 to 10 years old. During this stage, all of the plant's leaves change from the 3 to 5 lobed maple leaf shape to a more ovate appearance. It's in the mature stage when the plant starts to flower, producing berries and seeds. English ivy arrived to this continent without any of its natural enemies, and it flourishes, especially in Western Washington's temperate climate. These conditions have allowed this plant to become very destructive to our local ecology. One of the most concerning threats is its ability to kill mature trees.
English and Atlantic ivy, which are the 2 ivies most found around here, they'll start to climb up the trunk. As it gets up into the canopy of the tree, that's when the problem is. Because typically what happens is that top canopy gets top heavy and acts like a wind sail. And so then when we have an increasingly frequent and strong windstorm like we have now in this new climate era, what happens is the top of the tree snaps off, and then you're left with a dead snag. Trees give us so many benefits. They're super important for the climate impacts we now face. For example, neighborhoods dominated by concrete and asphalt can be up to 15 degrees hotter. Shade from trees during extreme summer heat can be the difference between life and death. They're fantastic sponges. Their leaves and root systems slow down rainwater, which helps our stormwater systems from being overwhelmed. This reduces costly flooding. Trees also clean our air, stabilize soil, support habitat, and capture carbon. And last but not least, trees can counter health problems such as heart and anxiety disorders.
I've been called Queen of the Weeds, Weed Empress. Never president, though. I kind of like that. A non-native species is one that's been introduced from other parts of the world. It's a small percentage that actually become a problem. We're bringing ivy in, and we need to stop doing that, and we need to be responsible for the ivy that's here. We already have a huge problem with it. It's moving into forests, away from population centers, and it's coming from landscaping. We need to stop buying it and planting it. And you're not setting up habitat for a diversity of other forest, fauna. You need diversity in an ecosystem for it to function properly and for everybody to be part of that system. You have something like ivy or some other plant or some other organism that comes in and dominates that spot, that monkey wrenches the ecosystem and puts it out of function.
2 days before our ivy removal event, a massive branch fell from our willow tree in the middle of the yard, which posed a threat to the entire event happening. Our neighbor Sam reached out because of the signs I had put up around the neighborhood. He chopped the branch into firewood to give to Richard, our other neighbor, who heats his home with a wood-burning stove. What a beautiful exchange. Also, Sam made us a couple sweet willow benches too.
I'm Jeff Solomon with Lumber Natural Resources, Water Resources Division. I'm what's called a Natural Resources Specialist. We're sitting at the northern end of the Lumber Nation Wetland and Habitat Mitigation Bank, and today I'm out here with Whatcom Million Trees Project and a group of volunteers removing ivy, trying a new method that doesn't involve glyphosate or any kind of pesticides. Behind me is the main channel of the Nooksack River. The problem with ivy is that, they strangle trees and eventually cause them to fall over. Now, when they fall into the Marietta Channel, they cause log jams, and if sediment gets transported downstream, it creates like a dam, and water gets kind of moved to other directions, and some people actually live in that direction, so when it floods over there, it could be problematic for them.
Whatcom Million Trees Project is filling the gap between what city agencies can do, such as parks departments or public works departments, and what individuals might do about their English ivy. This is an issue that touches on socioeconomic equality. It's also an environmental justice issue. By saving trees and preserving our mature tree canopy, that begins to touch the lives positively of lots of people who may not have time to do the removal work themselves or have so many other concerns about their work life or family life that there's just not bandwidth to address trees. All you have to do is remove ivy from somewhere between waist and chest height down, and then all the other ivy that's above that will die off over time, over a small number of months usually. So you work your way around, creating what we call the circle of survival. That's either around waist height or shoulder height around the tree. The goal is to clear 6 feet diameter around the base of the tree. That'll give the tree a couple years of time before the ivy has a chance to come back onto the trunk.
Our ivy removal event was a huge success. Now that we've mulched, it's important that we stay on top of ripping out the little ivy seedlings that are going to grow out from the root system.
The root system only lives because the above ground plant parts are doing their photosynthesis and making food for the roots. And eventually you keep taking that ability away from them, and the roots don't make food. And with ivy, it seems like it's pretty daunting, but you actually can win that by keeping it from getting green parts above the ground.
We're also planting a bunch of native shrubs in the yard to replace the ivy and help to create more habitat and improve the health of our urban forest.
Hi, I'm a lopper and I'm ready for some ivy to eat. Yum, 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 yum.
When you see ivy and understand why it's a problem, you will never unsee it. It's everywhere. It's all over the ground, climbing up trees. This side effect of ivy education is so drastic that the Whatcom Million Trees Project developed the concept of ivy eyes, and they will stick with you everywhere you go.
Ivy eyes! I so much just want people to be engaged in the process. When kids are engaged and understand what ivy's doing to a tree, we love to see that interaction happen. That gives us a special joy.
If you have ivy in your yard, I encourage you to give this a try. And if you don't, you can always sign up for a Whatcom Million Trees Project work party.
It's important that people understand that the impact is beyond their landscape. Once the ivy grows up and is 7 to 10 years old, it creates berries, and those berries get picked up by birds, and the birds carry it to other areas, and that's how it gets spread.
Through this project, we have grown our roots in this community and have learned just how connected we are through the land that we live on. Go out of your comfort zone, know your local ecology, reach out to your community. Each of these steps is a building block toward creating climate and community resiliency. I strongly believe that this type of community action helps to fill parts of ourselves that are neglected in this age of screens. Now, using your newly found ivy eyes, what do you see?